Hey y'all, and welcome to Skyrim Scripting. On this episode, we are continuing our crossover of JContainers and custom console commands because we're using JContainers in our custom console commands just to make it awesome and honestly to make it easy to do all the things we need to do. Otherwise, it'd be super gnarly, as we saw in the last episode. So speaking of the last episode, let me show you where we are at. We're going to hop into game. I love hopping into game, and we're going to try and do that as many times as we can in this episode. I don't like going too long without hopping into the game. I just feel like staring at the code can be a little bit much. I want to try and get in the habit of going in game at least every 20 minutes or something. So here we are. Here's our console, and we got like a gimme command. Does it do anything? Gimme gold 100. We got 100 gold, and we've got a little bit of tracing printing out here. The little parsing, we're printing out some stuff. So gimme gold 42. What's more interesting than the actual gimme gold working was working on getting our parser working so that you could say, did we actually make this work? Gimme gold 42s. Yeah, we did. Let's look at how much gold we have right now. We have 1184. Okay, now let's do, I gotta fix this history thing. Gimme gold 1001 silent. It updated. Cool. So that is a flag. That is a flag that we're using, like the -s. And so now we want to be able to do something that's like gimme gold, multiply it by 1,000. I don't know, something like that. We want to be able to say dash something, and then the following argument will be used as a value. Those are options. Basically, when we're releasing custom console commands, we just want these things baked in, these things called flags and options, just so that we're good to go. We can release it and hopefully not need to make a whole lot of updates to it in the future and just have it like solid and ready. So the other cool thing that we did that we're going to use a lot is two things. One, you can inspect a command. So inspect gimme. So if we look in here, we can see that gimme has some flags, like one called S for silent and one called -- silent is another way that you can do it. It's called gimme. It's got subcommands including gold, and the gold one has its own custom callback. Gold has flags, specifically the silent one, and it's called gold. And now if we want to parse something, you can say parse gimme, just gimme, and it'll show you that it found the command gimme, but no subcommand. We'll say gimme gold, parse that. Now it says it found the subcommand gold. Now if we say parse gimme -s, it'll say that it found the flag silent, which is wonderful. I think it's wonderful. Different commands can have their own, different subcommands can have their own flags. We'll work on that. I'm going to write that down. We're going to remember that. We're going to have to redo some stuff, but it's okay. Reminder. Custom subcommands can have their own flags. So we might need to fix that. We can do that as we work on options. So should I go small so I'm out of the way because we're going to be coding a lot? Sure. All right. Bye. Boo. I'm down here now. So what should we do? Let's look at the actual commands that we're implementing. So here is the list command, the inspect command, the parse command, and here's the gimme command for gimme gold. So let's add an option, and while we're in there, we'll fix this flag stuff. Bummer. I wonder if my tea's ready to sip. I think it's too hot. Still too hot, rather. What should we add as a flag? I think multiplier, even though it's stupid. Oh, good. I can just barely drink it. It's got that like extra hot chili honey in it. I'm not an Earl Grey hot girl. I'm an English breakfast girl. So let's do custom console commands. I probably just made some people really pissed by saying that. I'm sorry, people in the UK. I'm sure you're very picky about your T's. And you judge other people for it. You'll judge me even more for knowing that it's, I don't know how to say, twinnings? Is that how you say it? That's my favorite T, for better or worse. So we're going to say add option, and it's going to be called multiplier. And you'll be able to pass just M for it, and it will work on the gold subcommand. So we need to provide command equals gimme, subcommand equals gold. So it'll only work there. We are going to need to make sure that we update it so that when you parse gimme-s, silent actually shouldn't show up. Yikes. Man, oh man, oh man. Or it should. Yeah, but only if the subcommand you're running has -s. Oh, it's going to be gnarly. Let's go make this option. So we're going to go to where we have add flag, and we'll make add option. We'll just get her working, and keep moving along. That's why I'm recording. I need you here. I need you here because I want to finish this so badly, and having you here really helps. So leave some comments down below. Good ones, happy ones. Keep the other ones to yourself. And subscribe to my Twitch. I want to do this stuff on Twitch so that y'all can give me feedback. Although y'all distract the hell out of me when we're on Twitch. Oh my god. You're so distracting. Add flag. Ooh, add flag is big. Add option is going to be basically the same. Let's recreate it, and if we end up with code that is almost identical, then we can refactor add flag and add option to basically be like share one method, one function. So we're going to start with function, conjunction function, add option, string name. Ooh, these should have a default value because these have values. So let's say default equals 2.0. So it's a float option. Because for options, we'll have them for all the different types. All the ones that you can pass on the console. So we might allow forms with form IDs. We should get there. We should make sure it works. We'll allow form IDs. Okay, we'll allow form IDs. So default. So let's make this. Let's make her now. Let's make it now. Let's make it now. Let's make it now. String command. You need at least the command. So add flag command should not be empty. I'm going to do that because I want you to be able to do these things in different orders. String subcommand equals command. What is that? Subcommand equals string short equals. This is a float option. We're definitely going to refactor stuff so that it calls like the same stuff. Basically, add float option, and we'll say default equals float default equals 1.0 or 0.0 rather. Global. And function. And remember that this is just the fucking truck. And remember that this is just the globe. Remember, don't back up, Chuck. Remember that this is just the global version, and we've got this console command that you're supposed to inherit from, which we did in the different mod, whatever. So this isn't the intended interface unless it's people who are calling custom console commands themselves directly without implementing it the way that we recommend. Whatever. We're going to get back to the way that we recommend after this episode. This episode, we're just going to nail flags and options and get her done. Let's get it done. So I'm rambling. Add float option. Let's get the command or subcommand. I don't care if the flag is already there or not. Right now there's this thing in flags that's checking to see whether or not the command or subcommand has a flags map. Let's make it so that when you register a command or a subcommand, it always has a flags map. So let's say, and we'll do the same for oh, genius. Genius, genius, genius. When adding a global option or flag, add it to the list of all subcommand options, flags, maybe. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. So let's always add the flags and options maps. So let's do it right here in register command. We'll deal with that later, whatever. New command map ID. We could do it in there. Oh, this is the note for us to do that. We could have this automatically do this. Cool. When you get back a new command map ID, let's say that it already sets up some stuff for you. So it's already going to say jmap.setString on the command map called name with the value of the command name. Cool. And then we're going to make these little other objects. Cool. This registers it at the top level for all commands. I forgot about that. We're going to say, we just say jmap dot set object on the command map called flags. That's a new jmap. So add a new jmap there. Add one called options. And add one called we'll come back to it. Just flags and options. So we actually can just say that this will work down here. Oh, that one's subcommands. So let's say that they also always have subcommands. And it'll just be an empty map, or an empty flags map, or an empty options map. That's fine. We just know that they're always there, and we don't always, in our logic, have to like freaking try and get them all the time. I'll deal with that shit later. That's done. Dope, 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 dope. This could almost be the same thing. Okay. cool, that's fine. That's fine, that's fine, that's fine. So when you add a float option, let's get the map of floats for the command. Int options map, or like command options map, whatever, equals get the JMap, get object on the command or subcommand map called options. Kind of want these to be in constant somewhere, but whatever. I mean, we could have them all in constants here. So I made these properties. I'm going to start using them in places. I actually might not even make them properties. Should they be properties? Yeah, they should be. I'm going through and I'm starting to rename stuff. And one thing I'm also going to do real quick is I'm going to make all of these no longer global. What I want to do is I want to reduce the scope of global functions so that if people say something like, see, here's custom console commands with the triple dot. There's nothing on it. There's nothing on it, which is great. And we do it with the double dot and we say dot. Right now we get debug, blah, 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 blah. I'd like you to just get instance and debug maybe. And that's it. And these other things will all be private, and then we'll have this convention that in all of our functions, we'll do this at the top. We'll do this. It'll be custom console commands.get instance. Let me change all the code to follow this convention. I'm replacing a variety of strings here. When possible, just favor constant properties and constants over strings. It's a lot easier to make errors. Not only, let's see, that was subcommands key. Not only is it a lot easier to make errors when you have these strings all over the place, these string literals, but this makes it a lot easier to change things. And if you wanted to, like if this became super duper important, you could change this to A and change this to B and change this to C. And in the code, you would still have nice code like name key, subcommands key, flags key, whatever. But in the actual, in memory, you would just have small strings, small individual characters taking up a lot smaller amount of space. You could do things like that. We're not going to make any of those changes because that's totally unreasonable for us. But just saying why it's often a lot better to use constants. Taking global away from debug as well, because we're expecting you to have an instance of this all over the place. So if you are a third party custom console commands, what you will see is you'll see that there's a custom console commands that has 3 dots around it that has no global functions. It's a reference alias. We use it for our player load game. And there's a custom console commands with a get instance. Let me get rid of that stupid get quest. Where's that? That can't be global built into a quest, is it? I guess quest.getQuest is a global. I didn't even know you could do that. That's just always there. Whatever. Well, we can't get rid of that, but we're just going to have get instance. Nice and clean. People can't call into our internal stuff. We'll just expose like maybe a spot or two to allow them to do so. Or we'll use JDB. All right, let me clean this up. While I'm in here, I'm going to fix one annoying thing that fix console helper to add this feature. There isn't anything built in right now that will add commands that you run to like the little history of commands. So let's just fix that right now with this, and we'll just kind of do it ourselves. It is intentional that when you register custom console commands, it does not automatically put your commands into the list of previously run commands, because you might want to do anything you want with that custom console command, and that would be a little bit controlling. It's your responsibility, it's our responsibility as the creators of custom console commands to do that. So I'm just going to call one of the methods here that does it. I think it's just called like add history. See, something that does commands. This.commands.push. We can just do that. Let's just do that. Commands.push. So we'll do console helper dot. I want to get a target for the console instance. And we want to call commands.push. So we'll UI invoke string console helper get menu name. You don't have to know this. And then we're going to pass our command text. Well, hopefully that'll fix it. All right, I'm going to get back to changing everything, but this will hopefully allow us to, after we run like parse gimme, I should be able to hit the up key, and then it'll show that command again. It's really frustrating not having that. And I'm back in game. It's raining pretty well. I like it. Let me have some tea while it rains, because it's so just relaxing. Here, let me get a better view. There we go. Isn't that pretty? It's vanilla, but it's still really pretty. 2021, and this game just still looks great. Yes, I mod the hell out of it when I play it myself, but I don't install any mods when I'm mod authoring. I don't want any conflicts. I don't want it to be slow. ENB is so fucking slow when you boot it up every time. So here, gimme gold 42. Aw. I don't think that's working. That's okay. Let's try parse gimme gold. It says subcommand gold, and there's this thing called subcommands that I guess I messed up. Arguments, command gimme, subcommands. Let me fix that. Done. Done, done, done. Cool. I can clean up that for right now. Here, why is this pissed? What did I just delete? Oh, I deleted. When did I delete this? Give it a moment. It should be fine in a second. I had an end if where there should have been an end function. Come on, you got it. Come on, VS Code. Alright, cool. So, here, let me actually use the outline, because there's a lot going on here. Right, here's what we got. We got our register command. In all of the functions now, what I'm doing is I'm pulling in CCC for custom console commands. And so that allows us to basically just have this one get instance function on custom console commands, and that is it, except for that get quest thing that we can't get rid of. So custom console commands dot, just got the get instance. Cool, and then actually if you look at it, get instance, it's got documentation over here right above me. It says that it's internal, it says what it does in case anyone runs into it. Yeah, and then we use all of these helpers for keys. We use all these constants. I don't know if these are going to stay the same, so I didn't make constants for them yet, kind of intentionally. I also moved the parse into some stuff to do later. The parsing itself into custom console commands. So if we head on over there, here's all the functions and variables here. You can see there's a bunch of these variables way over there. You can find them if I click on them. It'll hop to them. There they are. But I also, so I kind of organized this. You can see all of these little areas, these little comments. We got our global function. We got our fields and our properties. Got mod initialization, which is our on init, which configures logging, which I configured to go to the console as well as papyrus log, but we can turn off the console logging once we're ready. But that can be turned on like at some point by users somehow if they want to debug. This shouldn't be in mod initialization. This should be in JContainers getters. Cool. So I got get functions for JContainer stuff. I got the start stop listening to the actual console. I got some command processing. This is what I'm working on. This is what we actually do. We had a shitty parser before. Not necessarily shitty. We had a simple naive parser before, which wasn't using our parse function. So I'm updating it now to actually use our parse function. Here's the parse function in here. And then I've added two different types of helpers to the parse function. One is the type that we're going to actually add here. The global will have it. I might move them over there. And it does things like from the parse result, get the command. From the parse result, get the subcommand. Get the command and the subcommand as strings. But for us internally, we actually want to say, hey, could I get the command map? Could I get the command object? Could I get the subcommand object? So maybe I'll just keep these on the global. Let me move this back to the global. Here, you can do it with me. So this whole section of these simple parser helpers we're going to put over here. Like this and stuff like that. Parse result command. And to get that command key, we're just going to make it like everything else. It has this little CCC. Cool. Now we can call out to that if we want to from over here. We'll call the global interface, custom console commands dot custom console commands dot. We need to make that global because we moved it over. It wasn't global. Now that should work. Cool. Make it not angry. I called it custom commands. Custom console commands. Cool. Let's make sure this all compiles. And then hang out with me while I update this right here. Move the sidebar. The command processing. So I'm totally rewriting this to use our new parser. So I say the result equals parse, get that stuff, and this result object is only going to hang out for a couple seconds, but that's fine for us. That's why these other ones over here, these ones are all going to return strings and booleans and stuff, and they're intended to be called quickly. We'll tell people in the documentation that this parse result object is only available for a couple seconds, so you should use it in one function, but then if you need it again, run the parser again. So we'll get a command, we'll actually get the command object and say if the command object is there, otherwise we'll run the command. And now let's say if the subcommand object is there, which I think I just implemented, then we'll say if the subcommand object exists, else what do we do? If the subcommand is there, we want to see if it has an event handler. Otherwise, we call the parent event handler. So that's kind of our responsibility here. We're just calling event handlers. We're just triggering the events. Eventually, when we have scripts attached, we'll invoke it on the script instead of just sending mod events. So let's say string event name equals jmap get string from the subcommand console helper. No, that's a different event name. Come on. Callback event key. Okay, cool. Get the callback event key. If the event name exists, we'll call it. Else we'll call the parent one if it exists. Let's do this. If there's a command, we'll say string event name equals jmap get string on the command for the callback event key. And then we'll say subcommand event name equals if subcommand event name exists, then we'll override this one. So we just get the event name from the command. If there's a subcommand, we get its event name, and if it exists, we override it. So now we say if there's an event name, else we want to check for a script to invoke. Instead, let's just debug. No event name for command and command text, and then we'll run it normally. We'll say console helper dot execute command text. Oh man, this is where I added that custom code a second ago, wasn't it? Oh man, I don't want to have to rewrite that, but I will. If there's an event name, is that, or was that somewhere else? That was somewhere else. I think that was over here. Maybe? I don't know, we'll figure it out. If there's an event name, then we'll send mod event name with the string being the command text, and then we don't care about the float number. Compilation failed on 155 of this one. Function variable event name. Oh, there's a string event name up here. I don't care about that one. Now let me see if stuff still works. And we're back. We're back to things working. Cool. I did a couple things. I added some logging, but at this point, the gold works again, which is fantabulous. Let me actually save that. Refactor to clean up code, add comments, sections, and constants. Cool. Push that up. Alrighty. I think we're time to get back to some, ready to get back to some flags. I also brought the inspect function over. We'll comment this out when we're actually ready to distribute. Yeah, I'll keep it commented out and set for when we want it. If you want it, because Papyrus util is not a dependency of custom console commands, only console helper and JContainers. But it's really useful to have that. So what do we do now? We want to look at our flags and our string options. So we added a string option, didn't we? We added a float option for multiplier. So let's add a float option. Let me add sections for this. I just organized a little bit. Version, register, flags, options. So here's float options. There's our default. And we added the option information to our options, which we already had registered. So maybe we just want to inspect our gimme and see if that option is there. Did we already do that before? Let's inspect gimme. Now that things are up and running again, hopefully inspect will work fine. We can see if our option is there, and if it is, all we need to do is update our parser. I love the rain. Let me take a sip while it rains. Tea's a little bit cold, but that's okay. Let's inspect gimme. Options is empty. Well, that's not cool. Let's fix that. Let's fix that, shall we? We got it for gimme. Gold. Okay. Cool. Nice. This should compile. Does. There's a chance I hadn't compiled that. We get the map for the subcommand. We get its options map, which it should have because everything has an options map. If we look back here, we'll see that we made an options map for everything using the options key, and we are using the options key. Did we not add anything to it? We didn't add anything to it. We need to do stuff like this. Flag should become option. Cool. Is flag 0 is option 1. Name, name, short name, short name. And let's add it to the options map. Let's say jmap dot set object on the options map with the name as the key option map. This should be kind of good. We'll deal with this stuff later. I want to redo it. But let's inspect again. I kind of want to go big again. I could go big, but I think I'd be in the way of the codes. I'm big. Oh my goodness. Goodness gracious me. I want it to rain. Come on, rain. Give me some good rain. There we go. You like how I can just open up the wait dialog? That's my always raining in Skyrim. It doesn't know whether you waited or not, so whenever you close it, it just immediately changes the weather to make it rain, because you could have waited 24 hours and it wouldn't be raining anymore. Let's inspect gimme. I don't care about flags and options. I don't care about that. I care about options. Flags is empty too. That whole flags and options thing is full, but both flags and options are empty. So those aren't being set up correctly. They are not. Neither the flag nor the option. So here's the flags map. Set it equal to the flag map. get it from the main object map. We're doing the same thing. Get the main object map. We get its options object. Then we create our own, apparently twice. We add it to the overall options map. What the F? The hell, yo? What the deal? What the deal, yo? What's the deal, yo, yo? I don't trust how we're creating it. Yeah, we make these little maps. Kind of like that. Works for subcommands. It's flags key, options key. Options key. Huh. You know, the options and the flags aren't on the command. They're on the subcommand. Here's where we register a subcommand. And we don't set those up. Subcommands need to be able to have flags and options. Would be cool if subcommands could have subcommands too. That I feel like is a version 3 thing. Subcommand map. CCC dot. But that was it. We just instantiated these as new objects. Now let's go into the game. It'd be nice to have a helper that sets up a new subcommand for us. We should do that. We shouldn't be doing it in the global script. We should move all of the real logic over into our private script. Now let's inspect Gimme. Cross your fingers and toes, y'all. Ooh, it's longer. There's a lot here. Okay. Ooh, I don't see any flags at the top level, but if I go down to subcommands gold, it has a silent flag, and it has a multiplier option. Aha! The flag doesn't have a lot of information because it is referenced elsewhere. Cool. Short M. Okay, cool. We don't do anything with flags yet, but gimme gold 42 should still work. I need to fix hitting up again. Cool, we actually already have this little spot right here where we say to do options. Cool. So this is in our big old parse. So we set up the parse result. We split up the command text. We get the command that's being called. If there is none, then we just return. And then we populate command in the result thing. Get the flags and options thing. You kind of have to fix. And right now the options won't come through unless we add them to flags and options. Now the problem with flags and options, which we add where? Right here, when you register a flag. It's not a lot of code. On the command, it says or subcommand map. Should just be on the command. We put this top level thing of flags and options. And here, what we do is we get them at the top level for the command, and then as we loop through, where is it? We use get object to see if the argument, like -s, maps to one of these things. And the problem is you could have 27 subcommands, and they have different, totally different options and flags. Geez, they could even have a flag that is -s where another one has an option that's -s. So it's okay for us to search for the top level ones. What we really want is, before we loop through, we want to build a list. So before we loop through all the arguments, if I can speak, we want to build a list. Let me write this out. Build a map of option flags to the object for command and subcommand, and the subcommand will override the command. Until we know what the subcommand is, though, then this map only has the top level command options. I want to get rid of this concept of the flags and options nonsense. We search for flags and just found in one place right here. I want to get rid of this nonsense. I think we can rewrite this. Yeah, we can. Let's do this again. So we don't know what the subcommand is yet. But we do have a subcommands map. Of all the subcommands. I'll just put it up there. The subcommand we maybe will find. String subcommand, and then there's int subcommand. We don't know what those are yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a map. We'll say int flags and options equals a new JMap. We're going to take all the global flags and options and we're going to add them. So we're going to say add flags, add command or subcommand flags and options to map flags and options map, then the command, which is the command map. Okay. There we go. Function, this takes the flags and options, and then it takes the command or subcommand map. Okay, see what I'm doing? We're gonna put all of the commands, flags, and options into this map, and then as soon as we know what the subcommand is, then we'll add its options. And as we go through, we're going to search this. We'll see if any argument matches one of its thingamajiggers. So we'll say we want the keys of the flags and the keys of the subcommand. So we'll say string array keys equals jmap, get all the keys of the flags map. So we'll say, let's do it on another line. We'll say int flags map equals jmap get object from the command or subcommand map with the key being flags key, options map, options key. We'll get all of them from all the keys from the flags map. Add flags, and then we'll have a add options. So we'll int index equals 0 while index is less than keys dot length. And while the next add equals 1, we're just going to add this to the flags and options map. So we're just going to say jmap dot set string, set object in the flags and options map, where the key is whatever the name of this flag is. So we'll say string flag name. So name equals flag name equals keys at the index, flag name, and I'll point it to the flag object. So I want the integer for this specific flag object. So that is, so string flag name, int flag object, flag map, equal jmap get object from the flags map, where the key is this flag name. We'll add the flag map. I'm actually going to replace keys with flag names. I was going to reuse the object, but it won't. I'll reuse index, but that's it. So I'll replace flag with option. So this will stay flags and options. That should add them all. So while we go through, we look to see if it's an option, and then we look to see if it's the subcommand. Otherwise, it's just an argument and we add it to the argument list. So is it a flag or an option? Is it a subcommand? Add to generic argument list. First, let's try and get it as a flag or option. Let's say int flag or option equals jmap get object from flags and options, where the key is the arg. We don't have arg. String arg equals command text parts index. Cool. If flag or option, else, we'll do this other stuff. if it's a flag or an option. You need to know if it's a flag or if it's an option. I don't need is option. We can just roll with is flag 1 and is flag 0. We'll just check to see if it's a flag. Or we could use type. We could say type flag. Flag, and this one is going to be an option. So we'll say CCC flag option type key. This is a flag. Flag type. For this one, we'll say that it's an option type. Cool, cool, cool. Now back to our code. Let's find out if it's a flag. So it's a flag. The string type equals jmap get string. Sure, those were strings. The type is a string. The type is a string. From flag or option type key. Type is equal to flag type. Otherwise it's an option. Okay. I have to do something really funky with options. It's going to be fun. If it's a flag, we're just going to add it to the flag list, which we have up here. Flags. The flags array. We're going to add it to the flags array. Easy peasy. JArray add to the flags array arg. Add string. Done. We'll check subcommand in a second. Let's finish subcommand and argument list, and then we'll revisit option. It's a little funny because we'll have to find the next argument and kind of chomp it off. So is it a subcommand? Int subcommand equals. Do we have the subcommand map? Yeah, sweet. Jmap get object. From the subcommands map, where the key is the arg again, and again, if subcommand, else, and if. This is our final kind of else in the tree. So if it's not a flag or an option and it's not a subcommand, then we'll say we'll add it to the argument list. Arguments array, easy peasy. Now that we're getting used to this, JArray add string to the arguments array arg. Cool, 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 cool. If it's a subcommand, let's just set the subcommand. I think that's all we have to do. set the subcommand as arg. Done. Now for options, we have to set the option map for this name to the value. Now the value is the next argument. So let's say string next argument equals command text parts index plus 1. Now if there isn't one, then that's a problem. It probably was out of bounds. Thankfully Papyrus is really nice about this, and it just returns like an empty string instead of blowing up. If next argument, else, and if. If there's a next argument, then we'll do two things. One, but we will, before this goes up, we'll ourselves increment the index so that it skips one, because we just jumped it off. It's ours. It's this option. And so we'll say what are we doing? We need the options map. Here's the options map. jmap dot. We need to know what kind of option it is. We'll have a big ol' if else in here. Let's say we'll have a helper. It's a simple one. Function set option map value, which takes the int, which is the option map, and int representing the option. First, the option map, and then the option itself, which is flagger option. Cool. Else, we want to print ourselves a little error. We want to debug no option value found for argument found for option, no value found for option, and the arg. We won't index plus 1, and what we'll actually do is we'll add this to the argument array. It doesn't appear to be a valid option because it doesn't have something after it. So we'll just add it to the argument array. Cool, 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 cool. Now we just need to do set option map value. Now when we make options, we're going to need to specify what type of option it is. So here's like a float option. So let's add constants for those. String property float type, float, let me add them. Cool, I got them. We gotta have to decide if we're gonna support forms or not. Let's see. So I think set option map value is going to need the actual value. So let's say string value, which is the arg, the next argument rather. So that represents the value that's being set. So we can just say get its type, so string option type equals jmap get string option there's an option type key that I added. If option type equals float type, else we currently just don't support it. We'll get to it. If it's a float, then we're going to set on that option map using the option name. String option name equals jmap.string option name key. We're going to say jmap set float on the option map. Yeah, this is what we want. Set float, and the key is the option name. And the value is the value as float. Cool. Because people are going to, we're going to create functions like get float value, and those will read from this option map. And now we should at least be able to do, is it inspect? Or preview or whatever we called it. We can check out our parse and see what the resulting object looks like. I think we're kind of ready for that. 274 subcommand. Subcommand is already a thing up here that's supposed to be used as a string, but we're just straight up not using it that way. We're also not using subcommand map. Cool. Kind of want to recompile this one. I have no idea what's going to happen in game. No idea. Nothing exciting. Just checking my phone. Just seeing if it was like a YouTube comment or something, you know? The stuff that you could post down below if you're here and hanging out with me. Then def. Here's our kitty cat. Let's do gimme gold 42. Cool, it still works. We're not using that multiplier yet, but let's parse gimme gold 42 M 1234. Parse result. Let's see if we inspect gimme. If dash M is set up, it's supposed to be, yeah, it's dash M right there. Oh, we're not checking for those dashes. Right. When we build up that list, that array of stuff to check, we totally did it wrong. It's fine, it's really easy. Add command or subcommand flags to option whatevers, and we set an object with a flag name. We totes don't want that. We want to set the dash and the flag name, or dash and the option name, and then we want to see if there's a short. And short equals jmap get object from this flag map short name key. If short, we'll add that. Boop, and then short. Bam. Now it should search for -m. Because it was in there. It was set up as part of the registration of what that command is, but we weren't searching for it. We were just searching for M. Let's parse gimme gold -m 1 2 3 4 5 42. We forgot that when you find a subcommand, we want to add its subcommands, flags, and options. That's the whole point of this thing. So once we get the subcommand map, which is right here, gotta be consistent about using map as a suffix versus not. It couldn't possibly have worked for two reasons. One, we weren't looking for the dash, and two, we weren't actually adding it to the list of things to search for in the first place. Couldn't have worked. Kajit. Parse gimme gold M 1 2 3 4 42. Mother fucking. We're so close. I'm going to print out these flags or options that we're looking for. These flags and options. I'm going to enable our inspect. Then let's go back down there to parse. Then every iteration, I'm just going to inspect object, flags, and options. Maybe a giant tree. It's probably going to be ginormous. Maybe it'll be empty. That could be the problem. But what I want to see is when the subcommand hits, then it should search for more. So parse gimme gold M 1 2 3 4 42. Looking for nothing. Now it's looking for multiplier. It's the parse result. Got dash dash multiplier. We're not getting the short. That's why it's not working. So why aren't we getting the short? From the flag. Oh, this short name key is just a string. Compile, build, and make sure I saved. I want to be super certain that I saved. Let's try it one more time. It's time to celebrate. Maybe it's time to celebrate one more time. Parse gimme gold M 1 2 3 4 42. Oh my god, it worked. The arguments are 42. The flags are empty. Let's try it with S. The flags are S. Oh, it should say silent. The options are multiplier. So let's fix the flags. It's not supposed to say S. It's supposed to have the actual name of it. Like silent. So if we found a flag, let's go back to parse, wherever the hell we are right now. find a flag. We don't want to add the string that's the arg. We want to add the string that is the name of the flag. So string flag name equals jmap get string from the flag or option name flag name. I think with one option working, I'm kind of done. Not done, but like I could do it. I guess the only part is I don't have the fetching working. And so we're over an hour. We could get the fetching working in under 2. Parse gimme gold s m1 2 3 4. Put the 42 there, whatever. There we go. Flag silent. Good. Wow, sirens. Wow. Let me commit this. Yo, I'm gonna fill my tea. But before I do, let's see what we're about to do. We want to actually see in our on gold subcommand if the flag is there, then we'll do a silent gold adding. So that uses has flag, which we have a placeholder for right here. That we want the simple lazy one there, which calls to the real one. Has flag. It actually tries to do a thing. I don't think it knows how our flags work now, though. But yeah, it's looking in the result. It should look in the result for the name of the flag. Has flag, flag. So they pass something like silent. Oh shit, it could work. Like it might be working. In which case we're totally done and I'll just make the rest of them work. Although I did it for flags, I haven't done it for options. But it's going to be really similar and simple. Sure, we can make the multiplier work. Let's do get gimme gold 42. Look at the top left. It says 42 added. Now let's do S. Now let's check our inventory. Now let's do it while we watch. Inventory goes up. If I remove the S, it shows it. Well, that already works. So let's get the multiplier. May as well. I'm going to do this before T. Let's rock this thing. Float multiplier equals custom console commands get float option multiplier default equals 1.0. We should do that. Gold amount times multiplier. Get float option with a name and a default. These options. Here are these. Float function. Float option. String. Option name. Whatever, like string option. I think that's it. And then just float default equals, say 0. Because I think that's the default float in general. So let's do what this kind of does. Let's return parse result. Get float option. Oh, wait. It's doing it with the command text? Yeah, they're saying, hey, does this command have silent? So let's do command text as the second argument. And remember, they can use our parse result API if they want to. Get float option. Okay. So now we want this. Here's has flag. Let's make it get float option. Float. Parse result, string option, float default. Default. Instead of the flags array, we want the options map equals jmap dot get object from the parse result with the options key. So that'll get us the option, and we really just want to return jmap get float. The option name. Default equals default. Because get float takes a default, but the key needs to be, so the options map is this, that's the key, and this is the default. Coolio. Let's see if it works. We gotta compile this because this didn't exist earlier. 46. We probably didn't make it global. Type mismatch on parameter 2. Takes a string option, then the command text, then a float default. Just add item that's pissed. Oh, this is going to be a float. If you multiply an integer by a float, you'll get a float. So it could have a remainder, and so we just cast it to an int. This will be sweet. And I'll be sad. I'll have to do the rest of them by myself with my dog, with some Skyrim ambient music on in the background. All right, let's gimme gold M2. 20. Damn. Give me gold 42. Give me gold 42 M2. Shit. We just print out what the multiplier that we got was. We should do this though. We should say get object. Oh, we're already doing the default. Okay, cool. Is this the right key? Where's our parser? Yeah, fuck, we do an options key. There's just a typo. It says options we received multipler, and they're looking for a multiplier. So it's just a typo. I think we registered multipler. We registered multipler. Now it should work. Let me get rid of some trace statements, some debugging that I was printing out that is now unnecessary. I was like, what is going on? Here, let me even turn off the logging to the console. It gets really busy in the console when you do that. Things to log to the papyrus logs. We could be using the papyrus logger. But once you're in the console, it's just a little bit nicer to have console. It'd be nicer if the console were a lot bigger, and I have another project which makes it full screen, but whatever. That's unrelated. That'll come out soon. Something that lets people save styles of the console and style it themselves, and then save the style, and it'll always load that way. Give me gold 42. Give me gold 42 M 100. 4200. Cool. 42 M 50. Actually, I'm not getting those in my history. But that's fine. That's fine. That's just a little annoyance. Okay, I got rid of like all the extra stuff that prints out, and hopefully it'll just work without extra stuff printing out. I don't want extra stuff to be showing up in the console. Should just say gimme, and that's it. Gimme gold 42. Cool, and we don't have it printing anything out. If I say M2, it gives us whatever twice that is. Oh, it still says multiplier. There's an issue with when I hit up. I have to hit down to go to the most recent one. It's very weird. I'll check that out. I'll figure out where it says multiplier and I'll get rid of that. I think I already got rid of that, but I just didn't compile it. Cool, and I'll just say console helper dot print. Here, have some gold so that it feels like the command is actually running. Oh, and we should actually add the command to the history, which is also not happening right now, because that's a thing that our thing needs to do. It needs to do it. It needs to do it. That is a responsibility of custom console commands because console helper is so low level. It doesn't even do that. So let's commands push, and let's also add history. I think that'll work. Still need to add some of those functions to console helper, which is super duper coming along. Oh my god. I was playing around with resizing the console and putting it at the top and changing its colors and changing its border colors. I lost 2 hours of my life tweaking its border colors and figuring out how to fucking change them. Give me gold, 42. Here, I have some gold. Great. M2 multiplies it. Now do it silently. Cool, 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 cool. Alright. Alright. We did some stuff. We're working on our custom console commands, and what did we do? We got flags working. Yeah, we did. We got options working. Yeah, we most certainly did get our options working. We both got the option parsing working, and we got the option retrieval working for floats. So we got flags working like entirely, and we've got floats up and running. And I'll get all the other types up and running. I'm still deciding on forms. Forms, if you give a form ID, I just have to chomp off the first 2 digits and use that to find the mod in the mod list to get its name, so that I can use that to do a game get form from file. So I'll try it, but we'll be good. So snap, we're just over 1:30, an hour and a half. Thank you. I'm so ready to get this done. Oh, it's gonna be so good. I'm gonna get this done, and then I'll switch back to console helper. It's late enough though, I might do an after hours episode, so we'll see. Alright, thank you so much, and as always, you guys, happy modding. Alright, happy modding.